going to talk about the reproductive system of the male. Okay, female. We're going to talk in the next lesson. So as you know, probably the reproductive system of the male consists of reproductive glands and consists of reproductive tract. Listen to me. This is a really small picture, I'm sorry, but we have bigger pictures later. So here, whatever you see, first of all, what glands we have? We have major glands and we have also accessory glands. Which glands are major? How do you think? Testes. Why are they major? Because they are producing spermatozoa and also they are producing male sex hormones, which are testosterone and androgen. That's why they are called major glands, major reproductive glands. These are here testes. Now, accessory glands, we have, first of all, seminal vesicles, whatever you see here, these seminal vesicles. Then we have prostate, which is a single gland. Seminal vesicles are paired. We can see here, but I will show you later. And finally, we have bulbourethral glands, which are really small, located here. Bulbourethral glands. Okay? Now, before we move to the other picture, we also have a duct, as we said, and we will talk about that. We will follow this spermatozoa. So, first of all, we have to talk about testes. Here at this picture. So testes. First of all, when the baby is it's a fetus. Baby is a fetus. I mean, still not born. Thank you. These testes are located in the abdominal cavity. Okay, near the kidneys. Then, after nearly at the month of the 7. When the fetus is in the 7th month, it descends down, goes to the pelvic cavity, and then it's supposed to go outside to the go to the outside. But that's the normal process, how it should be. Okay, why we need these testes to go outside? Because they are very sensitive to the temperature. You know, kidneys are very active glands and they are producing a lot of temperature. So these testes would not be able to normally function if they would stay in the abdominal cavity. So they descend and go outside. In general, testes need nearly 3 degrees lower temperature to function normally. And to maintain this temperature, they have some defensive mechanism. Okay. Now, testes consist of, if they are glands, they consist of parenchyma, right? Testes consist of parenchyma, whatever you see here, and consists of stroma here. Now, how is this stroma present? Stroma is, first of all, a soft skeleton, right? Stroma. And stroma is actually whatever you see here, this white is tunica albuginea, okay? Tunica albuginea. This is this tunica albuginea is covering testes, and it gives us septae. Whatever you see, these, all of them are septae. This septae is dividing parenchyma into nearly from approximately 200 to 300 lobules, okay? So this septae, which comes from the tunica albuginea, divides this parenchyma into 200 to 300 lobules. And these together, this tunica albuginea and this septae, give us this stroma. Now, about parenchyma. Inside the parenchyma, inside the glandular tissue, is produced spermatozoa. Where is produced exactly spermatozoa? Whatever you see here, okay. These tubules. These are seminiferous tubules. Seminiferous tubules itself consist of the convolutive part and straight part. What you can differentiate here: convolutive part, and then we have here straight portion. So the seminiferous tubules are exactly the place, the wall of the seminiferous tubules, where is produced spermatozoa. Okay. Then after the spermatozoa is produced, it enters these tubules, goes to this convolutive portion, then to this straight portion, and enters rete testis. Rete testis, okay? After it enters to the rete testis, then it goes to epididymis. But before we talk about epididymis, in general, testes have medial and lateral surfaces, anterior and posterior borders, and superior and inferior ends, okay? On the posterior border is located epididymis. Whatever you see here, this portion, this is epididymis, okay? Now, epididymis is a passageway. It consists of the tubules again, and it's a passageway for the spermatozoa. Epididymis itself consists of a head, body, and tail, okay? So after the spermatozoa enters this rete testis, it goes to the head of epididymis, then to the body of epididymis, tail, then to the ducts, and it enters to the ductus deferens. Ductus deferens is a continuation of this tube, okay, where passes this spermatozoa. Before we talk about ductus deferens, we have to talk about scrotum. Now, what is scrotum? Scrotum is whatever is covering testes. So, scrotum consists of 7 layers, okay? 7 layers. The outer layer is, of course, skin. And actually on the skin, there are located a lot of sweat glands, and these help to maintain the temperature. So outside the outer layer is skin, this outer layer of the scrotum. After that, we have here a muscular tissue, okay, which is called dartos. Here you have dartos muscle, but it's called dartos. It's a muscular tissue, and it's also very important to maintain the temperature, this dartos muscle, okay? After that, we have external spermatic fascia. Here, external spermatic fascia. After external spermatic fascia, we have, I don't think we can see here, cremasteric fascia, which is not shown on this picture, cremasteric fascia. And after cremasteric fascia, we have cremasteric muscle, which you actually can see, this here, cremasteric muscle. Then we have internal fascia, internal spermatic fascia, which will be this one here. And finally, we have tunica vaginalis. Now, what is tunica vaginalis? Tunica vaginalis is a serous layer. And actually, you remember that in general, I told you we have 3 types of the serous layer in our body. Which serous layers? Peritoneum, pleura, and pericardium. In men, we have additional 4th one, which is exactly this tunica vaginalis. Now, actually, this tunica, and it has all the characteristics, whatever has, for example, peritoneum, because actually it's part of peritoneum. It has visceral portion, it has parietal portion, between them it has a cavity, okay? In general, as we had in the case of other serous layers, it's the same way here. But this tunica vaginalis is part of the peritoneum. I told you that these testes are descending from the abdominal cavity going down. We know that in the abdominal cavity we have peritoneum, right? So these also have peritoneum. While it's descending down to the scrotum, passing this pelvic cavity, this peritoneum is following that. And when it goes outside and enters to the scrotum, then it's ruptured and this layer stays with the testes. So that's how we get this tunica vaginalis. So let's repeat these 7 layers of the scrotum. What we had outside was skin, then we was dartos, which is a muscle, then we had
internal.
No, yeah, external, not internal. External spermatic fascia. Then we had cremasteric fascia, which is not shown on the picture. Then we have cremasteric muscle. Then we have internal spermatic fascia, and finally tunica vaginalis. Then here we have tunica albuginea, which we said that it's exactly directly covering testes, okay? And when testes are taken out with the surgeries, this tunica albuginea also comes along with that. Okay. Now, this week discussed whatever it's covering this testes. Now we were following this. Yeah, let's look first here, and then come back to this picture. We were following the ductus deferens. If you remember, we stopped here. So the spermatozoa then goes to the ductus deferens. Ductus deferens itself is a duct, usual duct, with its mucous layer, with its muscular layer, and so on. But if you look at this picture, this is ductus deferens, and it's actually surrounded with spermatic arteries and veins, okay, and also lymphatic vessels. It's surrounded, and this ductus deferens goes and passes through the inguinal canal, enters this superficial ring, then passes inguinal canal, then goes. It's a first semester material. Then goes to the deep ring, and finally enters pelvic cavity. Here, this is ductus deferens. After it enters pelvic cavity, it crosses. What's that? How do you think? Ureters. It crosses ureters and gives us ampulla. This dilation here is called ampulla. These here are seminal vesicles, the other glands, which we will discuss. And these here are these seminal vesicle ducts, okay? So then it joins, after this, it gives us ampulla, it joins with the seminal vesicle ducts, and then they together create ejaculatory duct, okay? Ejaculatory duct, which then themselves open in the male urethra, exactly this prostate portion of the male urethra. So I will repeat: ductus deferens goes to the inguinal canal, goes to the pelvic cavity, crosses ureter, then gives us this ampulla, then joins with the duct of the seminal vesicles, then creates along with that ductus ejaculatory duct, which themselves enter to the male urethra, to the portion of the prostate portion of this male urethra, prostatic portion. This ductus deferens is covered with spermatic cord, okay? You have to remember that. Ductus deferens is covered with the spermatic cord. But the spermatic cord is only following ductus deferens until the deep ring of the inguinal canal. After deep ring, after it enters this pelvic cavity, there is no more spermatic cord, okay? We have to know the wall of spermatic cord, what it consists of. It consists of 4 layers, which are exact same layers which we had in the case of the scrotum. But except of these 3 layers are missing. Which layers are missing? In the case of the spermatic cord, we don't have skin. We don't have here also dartos, and we also don't have muscle. This wait a minute, the third one. External spermatic fascia we have. I'm so sorry. We don't have the third one. Is this? No. Tunica vaginalis. Okay, I told you this peritoneum portion. Tunica vaginalis we also don't have. So we have only 4 layers. Which layers are left? External spermatic fascia, internal spermatic fascia, cremasteric muscle, and cremasteric layer, cremasteric fascia. Okay. So what are missing here? Here are missing tunica. Skin, then dartos, then this tunica vaginalis. Okay. After that, as you see here, we have seminal vesicles. Seminal vesicles are also glands, which, as you see, are paired. Okay, what's that?
Urinary bladder.
Urinary bladder. So as you see, they are sitting laterally from the urinary bladder. These seminal vesicles are actually convolutive. They are convoluted glands. And if you straighten these, they are 5 centimeters big. But if you straighten these seminal vesicles, then you will get like 12 centimeters. So they are really convoluted. and they are producing this special liquid which is protecting spermatozoa and also helping it, enlarging the lifetime of the spermatozoa. Okay? Okay, then after that we have a prostate, very important gland. Prostate is, first of all, it has base and apex, okay? Base and apex. It has anterior surface and posterior surface, and it has right and left lobes, okay?
Not lateral.
No, right and left lobes. If you want, you can say lateral, but they are actually right and left lobes. Then this prostate has two portions, muscular portion and glandular portion. Muscular portion is providing involuntary sphincter, which is very important for males because you know that both urine and spermatozoa passes to the urethra, right? Through the urethra. So something has to regulate when passes urine and when passes this spermatozoa. So that's really important, this involuntary sphincter, because it regulates when goes this urine and when goes spermatozoa. Now, also about this prostate, you have to know the location. It's located, as you see, under the urinary bladder, inferiorly from the urinary bladder. And yes, I mean, that's about that, whatever you have to know. And glandular portion, I think I didn't tell you glandular, I said only muscular portion, right? It also has a glandular portion, and this glandular portion also gives us this special secretion, which is also helping the sperm, protect sperm, and also helps sperm to, enlarges this lifetime of the sperm. Now, after that, we have to talk about, these are really small, but still, bulbourethral glands, if you can see here. I don't have really better picture. Bulbourethral glands. Bulbourethral glands are also paired, and they are actually producing this mucus, not mucose, mucus. And this mucus lubricates itself all this way, and also the end of the penis and so on. So it's also very important. And also, except of the mucus, it gives us also this secretion which also protects sperm. How it protects? In the system, in the urethra, and also in the female vagina, we have acidaria, okay? And in the acidaria, this spermatozoa actually dies. So this produces all this liquid is alkaline and tries to neutralize this acidaria. Okay, so it's really important. Now, about this urethra, male urethra. Male urethra. Well, first let's look here, and then I will show you another picture also. Male urethra, in general, is much longer than the female one. If you remember how long was the female urethra, it was nearly 3 centimeters long, right? The male urethra is nearly 20 centimeters long, so it's really long. And it consists of three portions, first of all. The first portion is prostatic portion, okay, whichever is located in the projection of the prostate. Then we have membranous portion, and then finally we have spongy portion, which is located in the spongy part of the penis. Now, first let's talk about this prostate portion. In the prostate portion of urethra are opening the prostate ducts and also the ejaculatory ducts. Here. So here, this is urethra, okay? So in the it starts from here and ends here. It has, of course, two openings: internal opening, which is opening from the urinary bladder. Urinary bladder, and also here we have prostate, and we have external opening. So it has this portion, which is called prostate portion. It has membranous portion, and it has spongy portion, which is in the spongy part of penis. Now, here we have in this portion of prostate, what we have? I told you right now. We have the ducts from the prostate, which are opening, and also we have ejaculatory ducts opening here. Okay, so that's important. And also here we have colliculus, which is actually, you can see here, it's an elevation, this colliculus, okay? And in this colliculus we have, you know how women have uterus, probably you have heard about that. Male actually have also uterus, but it's a very small uterus, okay? It's a rudiment. So here is located this really, really small uterus. I mean, really small, but still it exists. After that, in the as you see here, we have, yeah, you can see urogenital diaphragm, which is inferior diaphragm. You can see here better, urogenital diaphragm. Look here, guys. We have to go home. Urogenital diaphragm. This urogenital diaphragm is important because it's an external voluntary sphincter, okay? So men also need to regulate their when they have to go to the bathroom. So we need this voluntary sphincter, and this voluntary sphincter is exactly provided with this urogenital diaphragm. And after that, finally, in this spongy portion of the, and yes, here the membranous portion is here. This very small portion is membranous portion of the urethra, okay? And it's exactly located in this urogenital diaphragm. After that, this is spongy portion of the urethra. It's the longest portion of the urethra, and it consists of two dilations. Here we had one dilation. Right here we have second dilation and the third dilation. After this third dilation, we have here fissura navicularis. Here, this is fissura navicularis. And also, you have to know one more thing, which is important when you become doctors. Here we have one temporary and one permanent fault. Okay, so you have to remember that, because when you proceed this, put the catheter inside. You have to remember about this permanent and temporary faults. That's all.